Tough getting old.
Welcome to the Bullet Sports Handsome Hour. It's 9:16.
Boom.
It's close. It's
on the
close
dot.
to a starting
9:16
I
on
wanted
the dot.
to, before we get going, I wanted to see if Bullet Dad would like to thank any T-shirt manufacturers out there. If you've got anybody, would you like to say thank like Champion or?
Yeah, I plan on thanking every T-shirt manufacturer.
Thank any of the ones that sponsor us. By the way,
that'd be better.
Look at this. See, I just want to point out what you.
One out of the three of us, I think.
That's right.
You don't even have the right colors on, man.
No, I'm vacationing already. I'm getting ready.
Man, it's you're getting ready. Isn't that in like 6 weeks?
Yeah, it's in October. Whew, I'm already spent.
Oh man. Yeah, well, Purdue 1-0, like we all expected, like everyone expected, because it's not the Daryl Hazel era. Wasn't Indiana State the one team? Wasn't that the team that got the one win against the 1 win season?
Yeah,
barely.
Barely.
It was the barely win. Yeah.
So what I was going to say is you don't learn much. I know everyone was excited. That's one of my favorite things when you get like, I don't know if they're newer Purdue fans or if they're just super optimistic, but Purdue throttles an opponent like that, and they're like, 9 wins. It's coming. Look how good they look. Everything's fantastic.
Yeah, before I was an 8-win guy. Now I'm a 9-win guy.
You
right?
don't learn a lot from, but what I'll say is you can learn a lot when it goes poorly, right? Like if you get by a team like Indiana State and they put up 21 on you or something, and you win like 35-21, you're like, ooh, man.
Mm-hmm.
But Purdue Purdue, I think I said to you guys, this must be what Ohio State feels like pretty much every week. You're just bigger and faster and stronger.
Exactly.
You just decide, no, we just took 3 offensive penalties, but we're going to score anyway.
Right. Every possession is just like, okay, how do we do it?
They look deep. They look deep.
Yeah. Look real deep.
And the other observation, and then I'm out because how many more observations could I have made on this game? Remember how we joked last week that the defense was going to be like a video game, like all blitz all the time?
Mm-hmm.
They were crowding the line. It would be 3rd and long where you're like, okay, you're going to sit back a little. Nope. They'd all be up there just showing pressure anyway. And even Thieneman wasn't his normal center field position a couple times.
He was pretty deep much of the game, but
but there were a couple times I was surprised at how many guys they had up on a 3rd and long where you think, well, you just want to keep them from getting their 10 yards. Like, nope, coming after him. That's, I guess, the Walters way, right? I guess that's just his influence.
Pretty wild. Thieneman finishes what did I say? Two tackles?
Yeah.
And
I love the people were floating those numbers from last year. 106 tackles. That's not a good thing. When a secondary guy has 100 tackles,
right,
it means nobody's tackling anyone.
Yeah.
It's never good when
we don't want that.
Years ago, when your secondary is leading the team in tackles, that's not a good sign. It means everyone's getting 8 yards every time.
Yeah, 2nd, 3rd level. That's not good.
No. So it's great that he only had 2. Keep him fresh, man.
Yeah.
What, 3 picks against Notre Dame is what you're going to predict, I think.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's the easy thing. So, did you guys watch the entire Notre Dame game?
I did. I don't know what to feel because they just look kind of boringly good. Like they don't look flashy. They don't look great. I know that they got, in theory, a really great kind of transfer quarterback. But like they just look strong and good and solid, right? And that's the thing about the Purdue thing. It's like, so going back to Purdue this week, the nice part is that it's actually been a really long time. I think the only win we had last year that was wire to wire, zero like worry, zero doubt, no indigestion at all was Illinois, right?
Right.
And so it's like I don't know if that, like, this feels different because that was almost like a complete surprise, like a surprise in that, like, we didn't expect that Illinois team, but it was just like enjoyable. This one, expectations were there, and then it was also like completely met. There were no injuries. We saw it kind of completely spread out. Hudson Card looked great. The offensive line found no trouble making space. There was no rush happening.
My guy Hudson Card, man.
So it's like,
good.
and yeah, exactly.
This is the guy that you told us about last year that we didn't see.
He was never this accurate. And I know Indiana State.
Honestly, this is literally exactly what you thought he'd see.
The accuracy, though, even that's one thing I'll say is that yes, it was Indiana State, but you still have to be accurate, right? And he was.
Yeah.
he was crazy. And
he didn't even really make the receivers work very hard, right? If his comeback routes were in the perfect spot, his stuff up high was where it needed to be. He kept it away from the defensive backs. That's supposedly the strength of that Indiana State team, and didn't matter. He took him out of the game. So, do you guys think the philosophy of Indiana State was to just get out of there without injury from the get-go, or did they because the guys at Golden Black talked about this on their post-game, that were they just like, okay, we don't want to get too mashed up, or were they saying, we just don't think we can do anything? Like, I was looking, I was like, man, this is vanilla. On Indiana State's side, it was really vanilla.
I think Kurt Mallory went in there and said, look, guys, my family has been here before. There's nobody comes into Ross-Ade.
Nobody comes into Ross-Ade. That's the thing. He knows. It goes back generations.
I was so excited to make that joke. I had that one. I had to pushing it into the cannon the whole game. I was like, oh, I can't wait to just boom.
Here it comes.
Like, if only you could beat the crap out of him, like old man used to have happen to him. I didn't know Mallory was there as long as he was. He was there like 11 years or something.
Yeah, because he was good, and then IU ran him out, and then they dealt with.
He wasn't good.
Sports karma forever. They ruined it. They ruined the whole program by pushing them out.
Somebody posted a great picture I just saw today of the crowd, quote unquote, at the IU game, saying IU football back, and they're like, and then it says IU football : and it's like, just looks like it always has. Like
the corners were completely empty. One of the funniest things I thought, it's like reminds me of some spinning in the political realms, right, where you're like, arena. He was like, who was it? It was the guy who's been at Pigs forever, on the football side. Where he's like, look at the student section, it's full. Big and then Rabby? I saw that,
Big
Rabjohn, you got it. And the next post was somebody posting the entire side, and it was like the whole section up at the was empty during the game. I was like, wow, okay, come on, Rabjohn, don't do that, man. Don't be that guy. I mean, like, it was hilarious. Like, the way you could tell by the way he cropped in, you're like,
oh, you can always tell when it's like, it's zoomed in and you can still see some like openings of people. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Signetti, I know you're a big fan of him, Jay, but he had some things to say to quite a contrast, by the way. If you listen to Walters, he like made sure twice to thank the Purdue fans. He's like, man, this is pretty incredible. We're all aware of what Purdue fans did today and how they showed up, and not only did they buy tickets, but they were there, right? It's hot. You're playing the less than great opponent, and everybody still showed up. And then Signetti after the game kind of went after IU fans saying, hey, we're trying to change culture. You guys need to stay in the seats for longer than a quarter and a half. I was like,
so this is what I was saying about Signetti, which is like, this dude is just a jerk. I mean, like, so he was doing the same thing during the offseason where it was like a few of these players did us a favor by transferring out. And it was like, it makes me kind of sit back and reflect on the fact that Dion just does the Dion stuff louder than anybody else, but a lot of people try to do the exact same thing, which is just kind of act like a general, like, entitled jerk about it.
Yeah.
Because you've had success at a different program. Again, I mean, like, remember Ryan Walters won whatever award, the Broyles Award, as like the nation's best assistant coach, the year before he took the Purdue job. He was seen as this young rising assistant coach. It's kind of like, it's not the kind of head coach success that that Dion had at Jackson State, or that Signetti had at James Madison. But still, it's like, these are successful people that always get these jobs, and like, you can tell the way that some of them treat this. And it always kind of makes me feel like, hey, a lot of these people, like a lot of the non-sickos that are exposed to Dion's Dionness, maybe don't realize that, hey, this is kind of what these are college football coaches. Like, these are a lot of the brand of them. And I think Signetti is kind of in that.
Brian Kelly, Signetti, but it's the funnier ones are the ones who haven't done anything to earn it, like Signetti. He's convinced he has because he won some games at James Madison. That's almost funnier. Like Kelly, Kelly's the all-time winningest Notre Dame football coach, which I like saying because Notre Dame fans don't like it. But he did win a lot of games there, and he took that program, I think he realized, as far as he could take it, which is also funny because that did not include winning a title. But that is as far as you can take that program anymore. So he's sort of earned the right to be a little bit cocky, a little. And I encourage him to be more cocky because it's even more fun when LSU takes.
Did anything happen to LSU?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
LSU did what we kind of foreshadowed. By the way, all of us said, really, why are the expectations this high? Right? I mean, you lose a Heisman winner, and you're an okay team when you have all those resources and all those thoroughbreds out there. Why does everybody have such high expectations? And then they go out there. I think, by the way, Kelly just completely depantsed his coaching staff and the players. If you watch that post game, it was pretty funny. He's like, we had the game won, and then we pulled the defeat out of the mouth of victory. So
yeah, it's like I don't we were talking about this, we were talking about this last year, where it's like no matter what happens with Brian Kelly, it's hilarious either way, because it's like either he comes into the SEC and wins immediately with a program that should be kind of at the top of the SEC, or he fails, and it's hilarious, like he does right now, and it's hilarious. It's awesome. He kind of has, maybe if you were to come up with the teams that have like the short list of the best offensive and best defensive players in the country last year, he was one of the LSU was one of the teams that had him. He completely misused his kind of star linebacker, and Jaden Daniels was fine. Jaden Daniels was great himself, and it didn't turn into kind of an all-star kind of season for LSU. And it was like, what, and he's going to have more teams. He's going to have more talent like that. And obviously with the playoff, his season isn't cratered at LSU right now, but it's like, dang, like this is the kind of stuff where, I don't know, like you're letting these kind of opportunities slip by. It's very strange, and I love it. I can't take the smile off my face.
There was a thread on Twitter that when he threw his little hissy fit in the press and he pounded the desk, the comments were hilarious. They're like, you know what he needs to do? He needs to get on a turntable with a recruit and do some awesome dancing. That would probably put it over the top.
I was just, before you joined, I was telling Anish that Newbert just reposted that, and he posted a longer one I hadn't seen. The clip that got famous was like 5 or 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, this one's like a minute or 40 seconds or something, and it's
so
around
uncomfortable.
like twice. It's so great. He's dancing behind him. Oh,
what's the name of the recruit? Like, what did he end up doing? Because I know he didn't land at LSU. Who is that? Do you remember?
I don't know. I just know that that's what's funny about it too, is that he completely embarrassed himself for a guy.
Right. It wasn't. I mean, Manning, I'd say, was probably the highest profile recruit in the last few years. That guy looked like a beast. I remember him. He looked sticking next to Kelly, who looks like a Campbell Soup kid. I think most Division I athletes would look like that. I mean, that's like me standing next to those guys. I know he's a little bit taller than me. Okay, Jay, you don't need to say that. I can already read your thoughts.
I would never say such a thing.
No. So Ringer uses his headlights on his mower. It's pretty awesome.
Well, he just came in.
They don't work. They don't ever work, by the way. No mower
I always wondered
headlights.
about why there are headlights on lawnmowers, because who's mowing their lawn in the dark? That's what I don't understand.
It's the best time. Clear
busy
your
guy.
head.
Right. It's cooler. Nobody can see you drinking. Yeah. I mean, there's lots of reasons. I mean, what are you laughing about? Why else live in a cup holder if you weren't supposed to have a beer on it?
Correct.
So one thing I did want to address, and I think it's important, Indiana State comes out of the tunnel, and Ross said, and I was like, man, they look pretty sharp. They kind of look like Colts. I was like, okay, they look pretty good.
Not bad.
Not bad. And I sit up pretty high, 54 rows up. I like sitting up there. We've sat up there for years. Huh? What'd you say? Yeah, Skybox, exactly. And I watched the game or part of it on DVR, and I didn't know Indiana State had cool watery graphics on their shoulders. And then I was like, okay, those uniforms suck. They're not cool. They're really, why do that? You look solid from far away. I did not see that in person because I never got down low enough.
It kind of looked like a creative team, like a creative team jersey. Like the Kansas City Admirals or something like that, when you didn't have it, like on video games that don't have the rights to these players or to these teams.
Yeah. So how did you? I put out a very scientific poll. I'm sure you guys saw it.
I did see that
about the uniforms. I wanted to see was there anybody who thought, okay, and seeing them in person, did we take a step back? Like that's the big thing, right?
So you were testing to see if on a brilliant sunny day, when Purdue wins 49-0, if anybody liked the way they looked.
Oh, you don't like this? You don't like winning? You don't like the way it looks when they win? No, I mean, I tell you, I think my biggest gripe of the design was I thought Purdue was too low, right? And it doesn't look low at all when they're in pads. It looks low on, like somebody if they're not wearing pads.
Looks small to me. That's my only gripe.
You see Indiana? It's huge on there, so you can go that way. Holy moly.
And also, and
this is stretched.
The same complaint I think we all have for the basketball, the kind of vintage throwback basketball ones where it's like the Purdue, and maybe it was just because our best player was 7'3", 300 pounds. Like I understand.
Everything looks small on him.
Everything looks small on Zach Edey.
But the numbers, that's the gripe on those, right? The numbers on the back.
That's my gripe, but you told me I was not right to be griping about that.
Yeah, shut your face hole because those are amazing.
I mean,
you're going to ruin best. You're going to ruin it, Jay. You keep talking, and then we're not going to have nice uniforms.
To a 16 in those. I'm not the one going to ruin it.
They went to the finals. That's all I care about.
Yeah, that's true.
And I honestly, they could never have. Honestly, I mean, you guys knew I was in love with those jerseys before it even happened, and you were already talking trash about them right when they were released.
I wasn't talking trash. I just don't like them as much as you are. I like the regular home unis. We never.
I know. Here's the other thing. I know how much weight you carry with the athletic department.
How much weight?
Don't. Gosh, don't.
Yeah, relax, man.
Jeez,
Too many cookies, brother. What are you doing?
Yeah, hey,
how
man.
much weight you carry? Period. By the way, I'd like to just we're 16 minutes in, and Mohill 93 just said he joined kind of late. Does anyone know a good place to get a burger? They're cute.
Oh, I do.
Do you know one?
Yeah. So what you do is you head towards the fire station and turn left.
I love
any fire station.
Any fire station and turn left, and there will be an AJ's there.
Yeah.
No, head towards the fire station if you're coming from Rossade, and turn left. Is that better?
I guess.
Okay. So it's wonderful. It's on Vine, and the graphics are an electric blue on the sign. And you're gonna see the joyous faces of people leaving when after they had their meal and they were satiated. They'll be like, that's the thing. You'll know by the joyful faces, and then you'll know by the smells that are in your nose, and then you join one of the many, many happy people that went to AJ's. Burgers.
In your nose.
Smells is in your nose. Burgers, beef, and beer. It's AJ's. I didn't get to go there this week because people blocked me. Yeah.
The last time I was there was with all of you following the bucket game.
Who knows? Maybe we'll go again sometime.
Maybe sometime soon.
Purdue played in some sort of national championship game when I was there, which was pretty cool until, and then we finished watching that game and then sadly turned to Titanic.
I remember that story.
That's amazing.
It was perfect.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Wow. Well, the LSU lost, by the way, just to put a bow on that one, they lost to a Big Ten team, right? Our friends at USC.
Historic.
Good job, Big Ten. Go conference.
Go conference.
I said to you guys, I think that, and I'll say this, most of our listeners and watchers, I think actually agree with us on this. This didn't used to be the case, like at least on Twitter, people would get mad at us when we did not like the conference loyalty thing. But I think most of the people who were regularly here kind of agree with our point on this. But I said to you guys this weekend, I was looking up and down the slate and I was like, I can't find a game where I would not enjoy seeing the Big Ten team lose.
Yeah.
I couldn't find one. It would be great. It would be hilarious. But that was the first one. I wanted USC to beat LSU. So there you go. So one, the new one. They don't really. I mean, I guess they're in the Big Ten.
It doesn't feel Big Ten-y.
It doesn't. Oh, by the way, all you flipping dorks who were upset about that commercial going away, did you see they have the new one now?
Oh yeah. Stupid. They just breeze over about 5 states like it doesn't happen, which I love on that commercial.
They go from LA to Nebraska.
Okay, wait, look, we're in Nebraska.
The Louisiana Purchase doesn't exist in that commercial.
No Rocky Mountains.
Exactly.
Yeah, the hardest thing to get over in this continent, not even there really. So
France still owns the entire plains, Louisiana to the plains. The entire American watershed is still owned by France.
The first time anyone has ever gone from LA directly to Nebraska on purpose. And it's in my commercial.
It's a good one. They nailed it again. It's creative. I think what they hope is that most people are. So for a while, Jay knows this. I lived in New Jersey for a summer, and then I lived in the Northeast later. But one time I asked a guy who lived in New Jersey that I said we were talking about the Pacers. We were talking about Indiana. and he worked at a pizza place, and he had no idea where Indiana was. It was awesome. So I think what they're thinking is most Big Ten fans are like that guy. Have no idea that there's a chasm between Nebraska and Los Angeles.
Exists.
Did you
There's
guys
no
know
idea that Kansas as an entity is like?
Did you know UCLA is in Los Angeles?
Well, I knew where you were going with that because that guy acted like I'm pretty sure he thought, well, there's no way these bumpkins know where LA is, so I'm going to have to explain it to them.
Exactly. Well, that's what some coaches try to do. They talk down to us like we don't know anything. So do you guys have anything? I think to be hypercritical of the game on Saturday is a good idea. And like I heard some other coaches doing after blowouts, but is there anything, I don't know if you guys heard my criticism. It was tough to find. Is there anything that stood out to you guys? I mean, I was scraping to try to find them. Drew
Bibber's fumble was one, but it was like they just kind of nobody was like despondent over that. Nobody lost their cool after that,
no.
And then they kind of went right back. I think a lot of the penalties, it's not like a lot of the procedural penalties, like that's not great. And so the like part of that is like I don't know. I don't know how great I feel about that, especially against a better team. But like other than that, there's not much to glean from this game in a good way too, right? Which is like you don't want too many bad headlines, out of this game. You don't want too many things of note to come out of Indiana State. This is the kind of game where it's like you do want it to not appear on any highlight package show, or if you're watching CBS Sports or whatever, and you see the kind of Purdue highlights against Indiana State, usually that's bad news for us, right? It's the Darrell Hazel game-winning kick, highlight. It's like that's not the kind of game you want. And so honestly, it was good. There were no injuries. The penalties are really like other than kind of some of the other other than some of the things that that we've seen, the penalties are the thing that stick with me. But I don't, and thinking about how that went last year too, it started off pretty low. It started off, we were like, oh, this isn't a Jeff Brom team anymore, and then it kind of skyrocketed back again. And so it's like that's the only thing where it's like against Notre Dame, and then against those winnable teams, like you said, the quote unquote winnable games. Shout out Scott Frost. It's like you can't have those are the margin. That's the margin with Purdue and kind of.
By the way, Frail Hammer's a niche. If you want to put his comment up, he says the incompletion really needs to get cleaned up. Well done.
That's very funny.
He even had him open. That he had an open touchdown.
If you watch that though, terrible. It looks to me, and somebody said this in the media. I can't remember who it was. One of the either Journal and Courier, maybe it was Sam King, or maybe it was the Golden Black guys. But somebody said that if you look at it, it looks like Edrin could have gotten to it, but he kind of lost it in the sun. And he actually takes a step almost to the right when the ball's not far away. I think there might be something there.
So how was the size? Did Edrin look as big as
he looks huge?
Like some of these things, like he looks like a pro kind of.
Yeah,
like I mean,
he
he's
does.
like got a huge frame again.
Like an Oklahoma guy?
No, South Florida.
Okay,
South Florida. I think that's right. It's either South. I think it's South, not Central, because there would have been a lot of fake. We have a fake rivalry with Central Florida. I don't know if you guys know that. Totally something created on Twitter.
Space. Yes.
Yeah.
The space.
So, hey, by the way, Mark Garrity, I appreciate your comment about saying my mic sounds hot. I went back and I listened to it. I've tried to adjust it now twice.
It is loud.
Is it still loud? I mean, I moved. I'm a foot away from it now, and I changed my settings on this side. So I blame Restream.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet.
Yeah. So we've been trying to, just for everybody's. I hope that gets better. Just for everybody's reference, we're going to try to make some improvements on this in the coming weeks. But right now we can't because we didn't want to roll the dice with tonight's show. We thought.
Well, that's what the bye week's for. You go back in,
right.
You watch some tape, you make sure, you clean stuff up. That's the bye week.
Well, and to answer the question from before, I would agree with what Anish brought up. To me, the only people were like talking about this game being like flawless. There were some offensive penalties that would burn you against a good team. You can't have like 3 false starts in a series. You can't do stuff like that. And I know some of them were. There was one that was completely bogus, but
one of them was absurd.
Yeah, There was a roughing the passer called on Purdue that was not.
That was really bad. That was real bad. The ball was in his hands. It was real bad. So actually, I've got the film rolling right now, and it's 2nd and 17 right now. There's about to be a flag. I'm going to watch this one because this is one I was trying to figure out to get my opinion once again. Because I watched it live and I didn't see it. Hold on. So you guys talk amongst yourselves.
Yes, the live play-by-play on the radio. 3 days later, boiler down.
I'm going to watch this right now and tell you what I think.
I'm literally. I'm sorry, but I need to do it, and it's for your good. Okay, Jay. It's Holding. Suck it, Holding. Oh my gosh! Like I'm mad again. This is what we like to do. I don't know if you guys remember the last time I did this, and I got mad. Okay. I'm watching for the hold.
I remember what you were watching the Purdue.
Oh, that's a bad call.
Oh, confirmed.
Confirmed bad call.
But hey, the refs are just getting started as well.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, by week 2, everything will be dialed in.
I was going to say they'll have everything cleaned up by October. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be terrific.
It's just a reminder. It's just a reminder that college refs, just so that you don't get used to, any sort of decent referee.
Exactly. Consistency, decency, understand the rules. Don't need that. Yeah. So Dylan had a couple good points that need to be addressed. First one, he said, a 10 out of 10 hug from me. I'm extremely huggable.
Oh,
I just am. I've worked on that last couple of years with my physique.
Entirely honestly, it's been a while, so I gotta refresh my memory. Maybe next week if you're free.
Maybe. We'll see. So so that's the first thing. Second thing, he said Dowd is naturally loud. So if I'm still coming in hot with my mic, I'm literally so far away from my mic right now. But
sometimes we do just put a microphone outside the window, and we just try to pick up the ambient noises around Fishers.
We can barely hear Niche now. I can hear
and so he comes through clear on our end. This is the funny thing. When I listened to this when I was traveling, I was in a road trip. Anish was quiet on that one too. And so I don't understand any of this stuff.
We've got to fix these production issues. And genuinely, we don't write these shows in advance. We don't practice these shows in advance. However, we do like the quality of our audio. Like we always enjoyed like that's the thing where it's like if we're going to talk nonsense, at least it sounds good. So
basically, what you're saying, Anish, is Fred is hurting you. He's cutting you to the quick right now by saying
it's tough, man. It's tough to deal with this. Yeah. It's difficult. So I'll figure it out. I'll go back in this bye week. I'll take stock.
So one thing I noticed, guys, when I went back and like we say, we always like to watch tape, watch our own show. I know but neither you guys say that, but I went back and listened and. One thing I think we need to clean up, and I'm going to say this publicly, okay? If you could do something about the sidebars, it'd be great. Because, this week I want to really focus, okay? I know it's not like us to take sidebars, but I noticed we might have taken one or two that were just off path. So maybe this week we're just going to take it right down. It's going to be just about.
I've got a question for the two of you. Have you, in the last month, have you, despite the news that's been happening, have you bought Boar's Head cold cuts and still eaten them despite the listeria threats? Are you still? How's your cold cut game? Is what I'm trying to ask you.
This is a good question, and thank you for staying. This is the type of stuff we need to stay on, the important stuff. And yes, when that recall came out, I had Boar's Head. They have it's an oven roast chicken or turkey that they sell. It's really good. And we kept. I powered through it. My wife refused to eat it. I ate
it. I powered through it.
I figured
What's the worst that can happen with
listeria? Give me one bad thing that can happen with listeria. I figured they were talking about the other places that sell boar's head.
Listeria
you don't
is a
want
country,
boar's head meat with boar's hair in it either.
You're not going to end up in listeria. Like you're still in the United
you guys
States.
are crazy.
Like Bolivia.
Goodness.
Exactly. Algeria, Bolivia, listeria. It's fine.
Yeah.
By the way, what were you saying? I got another little tidbit I wanted to mention because one of you said something about Scott Frost. Did you see Scott Frost got a new job?
I did.
I actually don't know where Scotty is.
He's on the Rams staff now.
Yeah.
And it's one of my favorite things about sports, especially football. You can be so bad at your job so bad that you need to be escorted from the premises and paid to leave. You're so bad. And then you get a job at a higher level. Well, imagine if your job was like that.
How about Disco Bob tripping upward again?
Where is he? No way.
He's at LSU.
Dude.
Good
he's
Lord.
An analyst, so he's not quite raking it in, but an analyst at LSU probably makes more than a DC at Purdue.
If you don't know who Disco Bob is, by the way, out there, I think I started calling that after he was fired, right? It's the best nickname I think I've ever come up with, and I should have done it a long time. Bob Diaco, ex-Purdue great defensive coordinator. Is that fair? Can we say that?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I figure that's maybe one of the greatest coaches ever.
He coached 1 year and it was 2020, so he never coached in front of fans.
That's amazing. That'd be a fun factoid to somehow work that in. What Purdue defensive coordinator never coached in front of fans and was still fired or something?
What was there a year? Yeah. Coached 12 games.
But Bob Diaco is at LSU as a defensive, what do they call it? Special something coordinator. What is that position? Analyst. Yeah. And the funny thing is that defensive analyst position in the SEC almost always leads to another head coaching position like a year or two later. Almost every time.
Because guys that's what Sarkisian was before he got
right.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's the smartest thing to do. Is taking an analyst job at like Alabama or LSU. Yeah, Diaco will probably be a head coach again. He probably will.
Unreal. And everybody forgets time at Purdue how bad it was, and UConn it ended poorly.
Doofy head coaches who keep getting jobs. There's one right now who's beating Florida State. Bill O'Brien is the head coach of BC.
I think that's a perfect fit.
Actually, that's a good one. I like
it.
Yeah, I think he'll be really successful there. Really successful.
I think he'll be fine. I think
he's been a coach. He was a coach of the Patriots for a while, so that actually plays in Boston, obviously. But he's just a doof. He's just a big. I mean, he knows football, I think, but he was not good when he had full control. What was it? The Texans he had for like a few years. And
that was horrible. Was that his fault, or I think it was his, right? Not the GM's, because they gave him full control. Well, he was the GM.
Yes.
He made some of the worst moves.
Yes. He got rid of
some of the last 20 years in the NFL.
That's why they went.
We got a Pro Bowler, get him out of here.
That's why they're going so far downhill, and now they have C.J. Stroud. Look at that, and they're really going to be good.
They're very good.
He's incredible. Man.
But yeah, so he's got for those speaking of real time updates. Last I looked, Florida State was down 21-6 to BC at home. And oh, how delicious would that be if FSU is 0-2 in the ACC?
As they're suing the ACC.
Football cannot be more fun. College football it's September 2nd, and we're almost already. They could there on September 2nd. 0-2 parentheses 0-2.
Well,
that's,
so
that's
if we
really the ball too.
I mean, if we're really starting the coaching carousel talk early, future Florida head coach Lane Kiffin is going to have a good time down in the Keys, like permanently, because Billy Napier, brother, Florida is not looking like a team. That's tough. Oof. And so it's like, it's the best. This is the best season. It's the silliest season. Speaking of enjoying other teams' losses, J-Man, is there a team that didn't win in the Big Ten this week?
Minnesota! I don't know if Anish retweeted it, but it's the great Joe Biden. I don't even know what he was doing. It's the middle of campaign. Is that when he's like, we're going to move on to Minnesota?
It was Super Tuesday, which was when it was like clear that he was getting the nomination, and he gave the speech in Minnesota. He just yells Minnesota into the microphone.
And I blew it out. I sent it to you. It says,
did you post that way too?
I will.
No.
Yeah. Oh man, that was hilarious.
What's the only Big Ten team that didn't win? Minnesota. There's another one like that. And I don't remember the politician, but they're rattling through the states they're going to win.
Oh,
I don't think it was him.
Howard Dean.
Yeah, but he's naming off, and someone. But a couple years ago, somebody writes when you're pulling the names for the NIT, and it's like Minnesota, Illinois, like Kentucky, like. Oh, it's so good. I love those little.
It's so dumb.
Howard Dean had just won New Hampshire, right? Isn't that what the context of that one was?
Yeah.
That was so good. Because he talked about he was going to get on this rampage. He's going to rip through, and he won. No,
he kept the heap, and he
that was the era when,
as we all
exactly. We all remember history.
You remember President Dean?
Exactly.
Oh, but PJ Fleck losing to your boy from Texas and to Mac, to old Mac, just like not. I think he had a field goal that could have won it, and it missed, and it's like, oh. I don't know. I mean, I know why. It's PJ Fleck, and he was hired at the same time as Jeff Brom, and there was always that kind of push and pull, and it was the one team that Brom really couldn't beat.
In trouble against him, yeah.
And it's just like I don't know currently other than the hateful Ohio State and IU, if there is a team that I enjoy seeing lose more than Minnesota, and I have no reason other than PJ Fleck annoys me.
I think that's enough reason. I think he's so annoying and so weird. And all it takes is one game that you've been to live that he's coaching, and you're like, you get all of it. You get to see all the nuance of him sprinting around for no reason, making it all about him like a prancy pony. Goodness gracious, man.
Like a prancy pony. In his maroon pants.
Yeah, and very tight. Very tight.
I know the thing that bugs me is the necktie under the quarter zip. What are we doing here? What are we?
It's not working. He's trying to impress you, and it's not working. That's what's happening.
I don't understand it. I don't get it. Who wears a necktie under a quarter zip?
Everybody?
No. Oh, sorry. No one does.
What about if you're at work? Don't you do that?
Of course. Yep. Of course. I put on my Minnesota quarter zip.
Put on my windbreaker over my necktie.
Dylan just did say old maroon britches Fleck, so he's with me on that.
Pretty good, yeah.
Right. I'm surprised Fleck, I think you and I both fully expected after that, what did he have, 10, 11 wins that one year, that he was going to turn that into a SEC job. We all thought,
I thought that was easy.
Tennessee hire. He's a perfect.
You don't think he tried to and just came up short? I do.
I'm sure he made it clear he was listening. Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe nobody.
And I think they were all like, we're not hiring this weirdo.
Oh, could you imagine him in Arkansas? Speaking of the Burt pathway, I mean,
that'd be fun.
Yeah,
it'd be fun for a year or two.
A lot of fun.
And then they'd run his ass out of town too.
So one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, and I talked about it in my post game again, and I just saw a run over here because I'm doing what I say we're never supposed to do, which is have a television on during the show.
You, yeah,
I'm the most distractible person in the world, and but the way Maccabee runs. I mean, there's some things that I love about Purdue football, but watching Maccabee run, when he turns a corner, it's so good. Nobody runs like him. His style is incredible. And then he creates something out of nothing, just amazingly. The funny thing is, when you look at the production of the running backs, I don't have everything in front of me right now, but you had some massive runs by the whole stable, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But Maccabee, it felt to me I don't know about you guys felt this way in the first half. It felt to me like he wouldn't give him much space. He'd go out there's nothing, and somehow he'd find 6 yards, right?
That was his, in his breakout year 2 seasons ago, that was his superpower, right? Which is turning these, again, it's not like Kenneth Walker type, that type of weird running style, that fun running style, or like Le'Veon Bell. That is that at the next level, but it's it's fun to see him kind of do that, and then you can hear the Flintstones when his legs are moving. It's tremendous. Awesome. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, the whole running back crew, the whole core of running backs. I mean, I don't think I gave them, and I know I did talk about them. I don't think I gave enough love of that in the post game though. They all played fantastically. That's going to be something that this offense leans on heavily.
Who's the guy that broke the long run?
It's a kid from the kid from Lawrence Central.
Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson.
And that's 3 rushes.
He kind of does this inside turn, and he's huffing I was like, oh man, dude's like a freight train, freight train.
He hits guys like a freight train. The defenders he knocked over defenders backwards. It was great.
Yeah. He's not anywhere near what he's going to be by the time he leaves Purdue either. He's going to be bigger and stronger, but he's fast out of the box. I mean, he's a redshirt freshman, right? But he's very fast. I mean, he won the 100 in state Indiana. So there's a lot of track athletes on this team. Another one that I would like to reiterate. I talked about Max Clare a little bit. I think what you say is, Jay, show me more. No big deal. Come on. Didn't you say something like that about Max Clare? You didn't say that.
No. I think I was the one saying the tight ends were going to be a strength, and you were like,
"Oh no, I know. I'm joking. No,
jerk.
No. Max Clare last year showed his athleticism. There's a couple plays where I don't know if HUD was floating on purpose. He went high, fastballs, right? One of them was in the back of the end zone to Clare. Claire goes up to get it, and he looks like he almost could have just gotten up and snatched out, but he goes up to get his chest in front of it. He still catches it with his hands, but he's up so high. I'm like, dude is really, really impressive. His routes were great. One of the best things a tight end can do in this offense is find green grass, right? He was really good at finding just the space in the zone. And like I said, I warned everybody, Notre Dame zone, when they play zone, will be better than that. I can assure you.
And
maybe.
with Hudson, I mean, like again, I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's not going to have a 96% completion rate for the rest of the season.
What? Come on!
But those are the type of passes underneath safety valve, to the big tight end target, especially with Notre Dame's kind of attacking offense. Like that is absolutely like where the ball is going to be moved forward there. Again, like not to look past the bye week because you never know what happens on the bye week.
You said Notre Dame's attacking offense. You mean defense?
Defense. I'm sorry. They're attacking defense to kind of gap.
I was like, wait a second. There's one thing that Notre Dame offense did not look like to me.
But that's again, that's the thing. Their
defense does attack.
It's a disaster that Notre Dame just looks like boringly effective and like. Speaking of dudes in tight pants that actually look good, dude, has Marcus Freeman put on like 10 pounds of muscle in the offseason? What are we doing here? Come on, man. Like, you don't need to do that.
Elko lifted before the game together, or no? Or
Elko. What was it Spencer Hall said about what Mike Elko looked like?
He said Elko looked like a bird cage with a dust cover over it. The way he was. And then you look at the picture and you're like, that's perfect. How do you come up with that? By the way, I want to jump back to the stats here, the Purdue stats. So the runner. So when I was watching the game, if you had said like just I had it on, I wasn't maybe watching every single play, but if you'd said who had the most rushing yards, I would have thought it was Reggie Love just because of I guess every time he
had a big run.
Yeah, but he only had 38 yards rushing, but he ran for a touchdown. 5.4 yard average. Elijah Jackson 3 for 83, a 27.7 yard average in the touchdown. And Devin Mockley was the leader, 11 carries for 89 yards, 8.1. I'll take that all day.
Yeah.
But then on the receiving side, do you guys know that 12 different guys caught passes?
Yeah, that's awesome.
12. That's a lot of guys catching passes. And only
super impressive.
Only 2 had one. So 10 guys had more than one catch. That's I don't know. That's fun. That's exciting. And especially when that was an unknown part of the offense. So how were they going to replace all those guys who took off after the book?
But again, I get it. Like, again, it's Indiana State. It does not mean that it's going to be like this for the rest of the year, but it's good that it looked like this against Indiana State, right?
Oh, like I said before, you don't learn a ton. They're not that great, but you do learn a lot if they don't take care of business.
That's a good way to look at it. So the 12 receivers being productive is a big deal. And I said, I think it was 20 guys had a tackle. It looks like it was 21 players had a tackle. That got my attention as well, right? So
it's a lot of players.
It's a lot of dudes just contributing when they get the chance, right, to step in. The guy that I wanted to see play more, and maybe tell me if I'm wrong, and guys in the comments, girls in the comments can tell me if I'm wrong, but when he was in there, Ojada looked good, big number 99. He didn't play a ton in the first half, right? Am I right about that? Can anybody tell me?
No, I think he was only deep. Like he was deep when the second unit. Was not. But
he had three. He had three tackles, and that's awesome to see. So, like I said, Jay, you asked the question about Edrin looking intimidating. He did. Another guy, like I said, that to me just. Almost just like it gets your attention when you see certain positions looking like pros, and of course Terry Grant. Goodness gracious! I mean, you guys have been there. Jay's son is he's a travel baseball and basketball guy, and you've been there when the little league kid looks like you're like that kid might play pros right now. He just looks the part, just walking between plays, right?
Right.
That's Terry Grant. I mean, I'm like. The dude looks. He looks like a I mean, he's tall, he's long, he's athletic, and again, he's going to get stronger. So very, very impressive. Everything about what the coaches look to do in the offseason. Obviously, it's easy to say they look big versus Indiana State, but they are big. I mean, like we all talked about that on paper. In person, they look that way too. So offensive line depth, I think, is going to be impressive. It's going to be a big deal. Like I said, there's more left in the tank for this team to push through and get it. The play calling, to me, I think there's a lot more play calling there that we're going to see that we haven't seen. I think there's a lot more in the tank for this team. So that's very promising.
And I would say that was also, one of the things you were frustrated about first, half of last year, at least more than that, was the play calling on offense. And while, again, you don't learn a ton against Indiana State, I will say, I recall early games last year where they were running over and over into the line, and not getting creative, not doing different things. And that never happened the other day.
That's so running into the line. Remember, that was towards the end of the game. It felt like Purdue was just trying to run out the strand and let Indiana State get out of Ross 8, right? And they ran it up to the middle a couple times. You're like, the offense opened such a hole that the running back, choose your poison, right? Got to second, third level, right? So, boy, it would be like a dream come true if Purdue could run in short downs against big, real competition. That's been something since, you go back to 2016. No. You go back.
Not the running, yeah.
Keep going. You go back. What Hope teams had NFL linemen, right? There have been a couple that have come through since then, but Hope teams really, the guys that came from Tiller, you could still run over the top of them in short yardage situations. Couldn't for Hazel, and Brom never figured it out, right? How many times was Purdue on the 40 under Brom, and they're like, okay, let's go and get a yard?
It was Boomer.
Yeah, right. What the hell?
It was boom or bust, right? Like the running plays that you remember are the ones that break and everything is perfect, and either there's a little bit of misdirection or it is like it's the Ohio State game or something like that, right? Like there are running backs, there are moments that you remember, but it was never a part of this scheme. It was never kind of a reliable piece of this, right? And I do think that, again, we don't like Fleck, but I do think that style with more firepower under center is what Walters is looking for, on offense. He wants a big, beefy offensive line. I think that was the biggest thing, a big, beefy, and too deep at the very least, kind of offensive line that you are really comfortable with. And to me, that's the biggest difference, especially now that, we were talking about the strength and conditioning entire staff. This is the first time, it's year 2, but this is the first offseason that they actually got to a full, complete offseason to work on crafting the type of players that they want, right? And so now you're starting to see, maybe not in the play calling yet, but even in the way that the players are developing and the strength that the players are developing, that tells you more about the philosophy of the coaching staff than kind of anything else, right?
Yeah, I think I think it says a lot about the coaching staff. They set goals and then they did it, right? They
hit them. Yeah.
They got better where they needed to get better. So you guys didn't have anything that really shocked you, though. Am I correct in that?
No, it was a relief. It was just a relief, right? It was like there's no injuries. There's no. We had Elisha Sindelar and Rondale Moore getting hurt on the same play. Really, it's just like, hey, we got through this week. There was there was nothing interesting. There's nothing huge that came out of this week. It was just fine. And that's great. I actually think that is very refreshing for a change. We won a game that we were supposed to win. There were no real major holes. I think, Jay and I were talking about the penalties being the only thing that kind of sticks in my head. That kind of worries me, going into Notre Dame. But
the thing I would, again, I still haven't found where this crew was from. Maybe somebody can answer that question, but they were not good. And the thing that they were not even either. That's the thing that I look at. If you're going to be real touchy about holds, for instance, because they called a hold on Purdue that I thought was very questionable on that drive where it felt like they were just flat on the take. That was an absurd amount of penalties
on that drive. I think
there were 3 or 4 calls against Purdue
plays down the field.
Yeah, and that was funny. You saw, I think it was Max Clare on one of the second completions that was called back. The look on his face is just what's going on, right? And then it got worse again after that. But that's the thing I have. Okay, if you got guys that say, okay, we've got what they always call it, refs get, bulletins that say, okay, work on this one thing, and you'll see it in that first 1 or 2 weeks. It really pops up on a lot of games. It wasn't that type of thing, and it wasn't something that was evenly called on both sides of the ball. It just felt like every time a flag would hit the ground for about 3 quarters, you're like, it's on Purdue. I mean, going back and watching this wasn't undisciplined, shitty football. This was, to me, that's the thing that bothered me most was about those calls.
Then that's what I'm glad to hear that, because the only thing I would say is you can't take penalties against teams that are going to be deep.
Absolutely not. I agree. But I don't think that's what I saw. And I would love, and I've been called a moron before in our comments section. So tell me I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong. Every day I wake up, first thing I hear.
Trail Hammer says it was a holiday weekend. It's tough to get a good crew. That's a good point.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
They're vacationing.
Overtime.
They're boating.
Weekend. Yeah. Those guys this is the backup guys.
Yeah.
One thing that we're at 50 minutes. I don't know how much longer we can talk about Indiana State, but a couple people in the comments have asked us. We have John Younger asking who wins in a cage match between Fleck and Signetti, the Insanity match. And then there were other people saying, Boilerman says, have we had an update to the coaches that would win in a fight in the new Big Ten, which is a fair question.
That's something we got to work on. There's no doubt.
I looked through it, and there's some young, crazy people in the Big Ten.
Yeah, yeah.
Would you want to fight Dan Lanning? I wouldn't.
No.
Not a big guy, but I wouldn't want to fight him.
Yeah,
he gets crazy eyes every now and again, too.
Exactly. He seems like he scratches. You know what I mean?
He'll put his thumbs right in your eye sockets.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, he's not playing. He's not. It's not a technical jujitsu that you are facing with him. He's getting scrappy there.
I
think Fleck would be doing all this it'd be a lot of Taekwondo type poses, right? Yeah. Really showing you that he's technically very sound. I think, right? And he would have a tie of some sort on, maybe an ascot for a cage match. Who knows?
Right.
But if you're going to say who's going to win between Signetti and Fleck, I think it's Signetti.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I think. You go. It's a crazy. I mean, that's a crazy match. It's got to be a cage. You got to have some props in there. I mean, you've got to have. You can't with this kind of talent. It's like with Jackie Chan. What are you going to do? Not give him a ladder and a pool cue? No, you got to give the artist their canvas. You know what I mean? And so it's like these two. You got to give them. You have to give them some extra. Some extras there. So
Greg McManus has a very good point, and this is something you might have missed, even if you were in the stadium, because I can tell you, I missed. Greg McManus says, discuss the Sycamore band, Dowd. You were on that side of the stadium, and this is a very funny point. Greg and I have not talked about this point. The reason I think it's funny is I had no idea their band was there until Ross Aid was pretty much cleared out. We always stay a little too long. We enjoy the afterglow of a win. We sit I looked over and I was like, that's actually their band. They're way up top. Probably right across from where Greg was sitting, I'm guessing, based on. But they were up top. I didn't hear them. I wasn't too far away from them. Didn't hear them. I'm sure they're nice people and excellent musicians, but I don't. Maybe all their horns were just they were silent horns, like it was just there for novelty.
Smooth. They were playing smooth jazz in the background. They brought the rug sheet music.
Yeah.
It's like Dave Brubeck band in the background instead of the pump up. It's everybody, we've all been there. We've all brought the wrong binder. It happens.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, here I am again.
And I tried to. If you watch those of you who watched the post game quickcast, I was trying to watch it live, and I asked Boyd out a question, and then I got distracted, and he answered my question, and then I got back to it, and I assumed he hadn't answered my question, so I called him out on it. And he's like, yeah, you jerk, I did answer it.
Well, funny thing, so Jay, here's the thing. You talk a lot when you're streaming live, you talk. Me talk a lot. Me talk a lot. Me talk a lot all the time. And so, but that one, it was funny. I don't know. I said, I think I answered that. And he's like, yeah, I answered that. Of course I'm like, what am I having?
I made you doubt yourself, where you're like, maybe I did.
I did it. You made me do it, which
nice I thought that. Maybe it was just in my head.
Yeah, maybe exactly.
I think we should
there's
watch.
a lot of pre noise thought. No, there's no thought.
We should gaslight. We should gaslight Boiler Down in the post games more often.
Just ask, 5 minutes later, ask the same question. So he's like,
"You're not going to talk about Hudson Card game?
Aren't you going to talk about the tight ends?" I
talked about those first. Oh no, maybe I didn't.
Oh, it would not be hard to derail him.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. So don't do that, please.
But my question that I asked.
Go ahead. No, I was going to ask you a question. Motor City made a comment a minute ago about the over under, and I'm not a bettor, but you guys might have done that with. I think I don't know if you've bet on Purdue or anything like that, but that over under number seems like it's innocuous enough. And
that's a fun one.
That's a fun one. And it's funny. I had a lot of people around me at the stadium who said they were shooting for that 50 points.
I don't think they hit the over. I think it was 50 or 53 or something like that. I think it was over 49.
A friend of mine, he said he got. I don't even understand how he got it. He got in when it was 48, or is that possible?
Yeah,
and he was stoked. So,
well, it was. I think it was over 50, and Purdue was favored by 33, so they definitely covered that. And I remember I always look at those and I'm like, well, so what does that mean Vegas is going to happen? If you're favored by 33, but the over-under is only like 50, that's kind of hard it means you're going to win 48 to, you're going to win 40 to, no, what are you going to win? 40 to 10?
Yeah.
Roughly?
Yeah, exactly.
Somewhere in there, I guess. And that sounds like that's probably about right.
It could have it could have happened. And I'm curious as to what the Notre Dame game, like what the opening line is going to be. I actually don't know who do they have this upcoming week.
Notre Dame has Texas. Am I doing that right?
Are you?
No, not
really?
Texas. No, sorry. Texas is playing shit.
Notre Dame's schedule
is not Michigan. Sorry,
yeah,
Texas playing Michigan.
Notre Dame's schedule is not a lot to write home about. Like they have to get up for a few games, and I think this A&M game was a big one for them.
That's a huge win.
Yeah, I mean, NIU next week. So that's
a little tune-up. Yeah.
And so it's going to be, I mean, like, and they looked fine, against A&M. And so it's like,
one at
like, yeah, and that was good. They celebrated like they were, that they'd won a championship, but like, it is what it is.
Winning at A&M.
At A&M, it's a good win.
I would celebrate that too.
It's a good win.
It's a big place. The one thing that, Michael talks about that because he didn't live in that area when they redid the stadium, correct? It was already done by the time he got to Texas.
Oh, yeah.
The thing that's noteworthy to me about A&M, and I don't know if, it's almost like that Northwestern mock-up stadium they got right now where it's one of the weirdest things. The end zone stands are ridiculously tall and huge, and they have breaks in their stands, I think, multiple places, and they still have like 107,000 fans there. I mean, you're like that one stand is just gargantuan. That place is so freaking big.
Double deck, and it's a lot of people. Well, I love that you just compared Northwestern to Texas A&M.
Yeah, because the reason I did that, though, I know it's fair because you've got a high school stadium, a glorified high school stadium, and then one of the baddest ass places in America. But the way that Northwestern Stadium is put together is so silly.
The temporary one.
Yeah, the temporary one, because they've got really high stands behind the end zones, and then they have really short stands on the sidelines, which, especially the one by the lake.
Sidelines,
yeah, that one by the lake is. I think is there hardly anything there other than those two.
The two.
They get the
kind of cat-a-corner, like
at a weird angle. Yeah,
just so you can see them from the ends, is what I was told. But they're playing there for 2 years too.
I know. That's rough.
That can't be great for recruiting. Can't be great.
I don't know. I think
there's a lot of things.
Honestly, I think it looks pretty cool.
I think it looks good for a temporary stadium. I agree. I think
but at least even the location of it, like, I don't know. It's not like Northwestern's fan support is going to be there, like, anyway. So you might as well have a cool location.
I'm glad Purdue isn't playing there because it's going to be like 4 degrees starting in mid-October.
Coming off that.
Yeah, not only be cold, but the ball will move. If you're throwing anything with any depth at all, it's going to be pretty rugged. So, Brian T said, "Where can you get a T-shirt?" And this is a good question because we already talked about where we like to eat, but we really didn't talk about where we can get a T-shirt. And I'm not going to say the wrong place this time. I'm not. Hey, I'm going to say the right place. And of course, I'm talking about the Hilton Head Island Shop. It's a joke. Okay.
Head Island shirt.
No, go to homefieldapparel.com right when you stop listening to the show and throw the platinum. Jay has got the Hammer Down shirt. He was kind enough to buy me that shirt before they were even a sponsor. Not a joke. I've already destroyed mine for the record, Jay.
Your body.
Which I do. Yeah, exactly. No, I sweat too much. And so that one's been sleeved. It's already been relegated to gym duty. But head over to Home Field Apparel. Check out the Platinum Packs. Check out the new coaches' jackets. They got a lot of cool retro stuff. They've got a lot. That Platinum Pack, though, is a pretty big deal because I don't think you can buy any of the things that are in the Platinum Pack elsewhere on the site. And they put it all together, and you can get it that way. Enter Boiled 25 for over 15% off your first purchase.
Boiled 25. That's new.
25.
New this year.
25. Yeah, it's good website. It's better than that other one that I mentioned. What the hell is happening there? That was a rough couple minutes. I hadn't drank a drop at that point, really. I mean, my gosh. Not that would make it better if that was the reason. Okay, but anyway, you guys looking ahead for bye week? Is there any big plans that you have your own personal bye week?
I'm gonna make sure. I'm gonna go back to the shop, make sure that the audio is good, and just obsess over audio. I'm customer obsessed. Everybody told me. I tell everybody this often that I am customer obsessed. So I'm making sure that the product that we put in your ear holes is of the utmost quality.
Yeah. I mean, you are. I always say that. First thing I think of is Anisha's customer obsessed. It's the first thing I think of.
When I die, the first thing that's going to be said at my service is customer obsessed. Tombstone. Anish Ramaswamy, customer obsessed.
Jay, can you give me a couple things that would go along with customer obsessed if I were in some sort of high-ranking corporate environment? Can you give me a couple more phrases just for? Can you give me one or two? Anything come to your mind?
I try to tune these out. I'm trying not to say the things that.
I hate it. I hate all that talk.
I go out of my way. You know what? I try not to say. We're going to circle back. I try not to say
that's a good
reach out. I don't mind reach out. You can reach out to him. I don't mind that. But sometimes I think about it and I'm like, why can't I just say call him?
What I think corporations ruin, put a bow on it, because that used to be a phrase I liked. And now I'm like, that's a corporate bull crap phrase, right? Am I right?
Well, and we booked 90 minutes for this handsome hour, and it's at about 62 minutes. I may give you 28 minutes of your life.
That's very good. Nice job.
I did not do that one.
I'm going to
give you time back. Shut up.
You don't own my time.
Yeah,
you don't get to create time.
You don't control time.
Hey, do you guys? Before we go any further, do we have a 30,000-foot view of this?
I think this project's circling land, so I think we should.
That's good. It's all awesome.
Lot that. The other one that as a communicator by trade, segue is a noun. It is not a verb.
What?
Don't say I'm going to segue to something else now. No, dude, that's not how it works. A segue is the thing that you used to get to the other topic.
But you made the best joke ever last week. You used the segue joke on me, and I
lean forward a little bit. That's your segue.
So good. Yeah. So,
yes.
How about this question? Did anything change? Let's do it 2 parts. One, did anything change about your thoughts about the Purdue Notre Dame game after watching both teams play? And then does anything change in the longer term for Purdue further down the season based on what we saw?
5 more wins. Only need 5 more wins. Not 6 more. Need 5 more.
That's right.
Every win you get gets you that much closer to those 6 that we want. What's funny is, no, it didn't change much for me. And I'll tell you, like my son, who's 14, very excited about coming to Purdue games. He saw that game and he was like, I don't know, now Notre Dame game. I was like, I think you should prepare yourself for that not to be the same kind of outcome. Now, I'm not saying there's no chance. There's always a chance. Purdue at Ross 8. I would love it if it were a night game. I'd be excited for the Magic if it were a night game. 3:30 is not bad, but if that were like a 7:30, I would be very excited.
If I were to be attending a game, 3:30 is my favorite.
Really?
Perfect for tailgating.
It's the best.
You can then go back and watch the night games too.
Yeah. It is good.
It's a good time because it is for that. However, if you want the Magic in the stadium
for the Ross 8 Magic
in September, where it's not going to be cold. This Smoker City Boiler just said, "Sorry guys, I was typing on mute."
That was awesome. That's a great comment. That's good.
We've not.
Yeah,
learned
I do love the 3:30 kickoff, and it's, to me, it makes everybody happy. Old people, young people, like my dad's pals that would go to the late games. Man, they were not ever happy.
Morgan Burke was not a fan of late games.
No, he was not. But he wanted to use lights. He wanted other people to bring in lights. Let me say that.
Bring your flashlights.
He wanted you to bring some light. He wasn't going to pay for it.
Yeah, this is it. That's
I was at a concert a few weeks ago, and people were holding up the phones with it, and I thought, do you guys even know the way this used to be done?
No.
Do you even know how much easier it is now?
Youngins? No way.
Do you know how much more light is emitted by LEDs than one single wick of flame?
I know. I'm just saying, people used to make that effect with lighters.
Right. It was very intimate.
Right, because you might burn the stadium down.
Right.
And now bringing a butane lighter, you can't even see the flame. Like, it's not even the same. You can't do the butane lighter. And it causes more damage. You get the people around you saying, do not point that butane lighter at me.
Because it's a damn torch.
Back then,
it moves
carried
heat.
A lighter, though, because everyone smoked. We're talking about an era where it was not unusual for every single person to have a lighter in their pocket.
Yeah. Yeah, by the way, did you guys see, this is not a joke. So my kids have thoroughly been, it's in their heads, tobacco bad. Okay. A lot more than it was for my generation. I bet a niche more than my generation. My kids are more than a niche. Okay. Is that fair? I think that's true. I think that's the way it was. Okay. So did you see what IU had, the shirts that they had made for, I think it was the student section.
Oh yeah. It's the SIGs.
They had Signetti and the Marlboro logo.
It's
I was like, isn't that? I mean, I think it's kind of funny.
It's funny. It's funny.
No, I think it's funny. I just couldn't believe they do it because you've got so many people that are worried about making sure you're doing the right things. Yeah. And then they do that. I'm like, okay, you guys are mincing your messaging, but whatever.
I can't wait for a smoked comment when they get.
There we go. Yeah. Toasted.
You have to wait a couple weeks. Their schedule's a little bit late.
It's a little light, and Anisha's best friend on the Indy Star beat predicted them to start 5-0 and 6-1, and to win 9 games. And
good.
That's not out of the question. Many have said
it's not out of the question. Anisha's so in love. He's so loyal.
It's good.
They're going to go out to LA, even though UCLA is not that good. They're going to go out to LA and just beat UCLA.
I think they can beat. I think the three of us could beat UCLA.
UCLA just won at Hawaii.
Come on, that's another high school stadium, and this isn't. I don't see who's the guy who won. Who was so good
in that stadium? They used to when they.
No, not that stadium. No,
Hawaii plays, don't they?
No, they're in a stadium that's like a block away from that. They knocked that thing down. It got condemned.
The one that played the Pro Bowl is gone?
Yeah. It's gone.
Well, I'm sorry, not like Jay. You two. I don't go to Hawaii all the time. I don't know what's there.
I'm sorry to give you bad news about your favorite stadium, Jay, but it's gone. It's gone. So now they're playing in a glorified high school stadium as well until their new place gets completed.
That has nothing to do with anything. What does the size of the stadium have to do with?
Has to do a lot
with the size of the dog in your heart.
Exactly.
Yeah. What does it have to do with that?
With the dog meat football.
You don't think? I mean, you remember when I remember when Curtis Painter and company went to Hawaii, and it was the old your favorite stadium was intact, and that place was a madhouse. That was a madhouse, and that was it Jude Jones? June Jones was the June Jones. Gosh darn it. I made one mistake this week, and you caught it. Congratulations. They also had a great quarterback. They had a great offense back then. This is not your uncle's Hawaii
when they
team.
had Colt
Brennan. That's it. Colt McCoy. Colt McCoy was awarded handsomest quarterback by my wife at one point. So
over Drew Brees.
She liked Colt McCoy a lot. I think she was impressed. Boyish charm.
But that Hawaii team, that was right before. I'm pretty sure I'm doing this from memory. I think that was right before. Remember the year? I believe Brennan took him to like 12-0 or something. And
yes, they were really good.
Bowl game and got pasted by like Georgia or something.
Right.
But I think the Purdue loss was like the year before that. It was when they were on the up. They were like a 7 or 8 win team. and it was not that dominant. It was not that team that went undefeated. I'm pretty sure of that.
Purdue found a way not to show up in that game.
That was the Purdue team that was. Remember, your brother has Paul. That is the worst 8-win team of all time.
Yes, the one that got pasted by Maryland.
They had 13 games and they went 8-5.
Yeah, they were bad.
And they lost to IU that year.
Yep, lost IU. Literally, fat Ralph Friedgen just kicked Purdue in the nuts over and over and over in that bowl game. It was Ralph Friedgen, right? I think that's
what that was.
Oh,
good times.
Five bills, Ralph Friedgen at that point.
Oh,
he was a tarp. The jacket was a tarp. Yeah. So it's not the same is what I'm saying. UCLA going to Hawaii. Number one, UCLA doesn't have to travel that far to go to Hawaii. It's like 15. It's 15 minutes from LA, right? I'm not good with geography.
Not that.
Yeah. So
they take the train.
I think that's a really cool route. I don't know why more people don't talk about that.
Yeah.
That train.
The
awesome.
rapid train. The
Yeah.
one
Is it
rapid
tunnel or
train.
is it over the water? I can't remember.
It's maglev.
It's both. It kind of goes.
Maglev.
Yeah.
Say
It's one of
maglev.
those.
Yeah. It's maglev technology.
Really
Did I ever
fast.
tell you guys a story about
Smooth?
when I was in Hawaii and
Oh, let's hear a rich guy story. Let's gather around.
That's not.
Has anyone heard about the time I was on the volcanic sand beaches of Maui? Would you gather around, won't you? You didn't even know I was going to go rich guy on that, did you? That's the best thing about it, because you usually get me before I go with that joke. So.
Yes, forget it.
All right, he doesn't deserve this, guys. Jay doesn't deserve this. I want to stop this. I want to just stop. Let's stop this line.
Guys, we've got to stop.
Guys, stop. It's been a long time.
Guys, please stop that joke. It's not. It's offensive, and I don't want to hear it on anybody else's
mouth.
mouths.
My friend, and you shouldn't do that.
Jay is my friend. I've known Jay since he.
Overload.
You guys joking around.
Overload.
Back.
No, when I got married,
Okay.
the only time I ever went there was on my honeymoon.
That's actually legit. So.
And we had gotten. Now, I got married a while ago. There were no mobile deposits, right? You had to sign the back of the check and bring it to the bank, right?
Yeah.
And we'd opened all our stuff like the next day and been like, wow, look at all these checks. And we had a Bank of America account. And I was like, well, my wife, so why would we bring all this with us? I'm like, I'll endorse them. Like, when we get there and I'll deposit them and it'll be in our bank account. Because I started my career working for a company, and one of my clients was Bank of America. So I knew where they were all located. So I was like, it's fine. I hadn't worked for Bank of America for years at this point. But we land, and we had like a day in Honolulu before a cruise we were leaving on, right? So I'm in the city of Honolulu. I'm in like the city there, right? And I go to the concierge, and I go, can you tell me where the nearest Bank of America branch is? Now, everyone remember, this is a while ago. This is like you didn't pick up your phone. I didn't have a smartphone. There wasn't such a thing when I got married. So it wasn't like I could just Google map to, I said, can you tell me? I swear to God, this is exchange. I said, can you tell me where the nearest Bank of America branch is? And he goes, Los Angeles? So now I've got all our checks and I can't deposit them anywhere. And I guess you could. No, you couldn't. Could you go to another bank? You couldn't, right?
No.
You had to go to your bank. I didn't have an account.
You could have started an account if you had been smart. I mean,
I guess you're right. I could have done that.
That'd have been a great idea.
I would like to open an account at Hawaii Federal. And I would like you to.
There'd be some red flag there. I would think they would be bothered by that. Right?
Why would there be a Bank of America in Hawaii? Like, you're not in America. That's not how this works.
You're in Hawaii, the country of Hawaii. Right. When I got married, it wasn't a state yet. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
49.
They had branches there, and then they didn't. They just
those
closed
are
them
trees.
all.
Those aren't banks. Those are that's
money trees.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, I was an idiot. So that was the moral of my story.
Well, we've done a good job of staying
Anytime
on
you can
task
look like an idiot
this week.
Yeah, nice job, guys. Everybody's done a good job. Hats off to everybody. I'll say me first. I did a really good job. And you guys also.
Back when I was a kid, we had to haul our money to the bank. I used to put it in a wheelbarrow, Brian, and I would just, yeah.
We yeah. Next time for the bye week, we will come with a picnic basket full of boar's head, and we will tell stories of the days long ago. I think our guy Greg McManus.
We'll put it cooler. We'll put the boar's head in a basket, right?
No, you have to make sure that it's insulated and hot. You have to microwave it and then make sure
that lunch meat is always the best lunch meat.
That sterilizes it. It gets the listeria out of it.
That's how you make sandwiches, right? You put kind of several day old bread, tomatoes, which are great microwaved, and your boar's head.
Lots of mayonnaise before you microwave it.
Lettuce
is good warm. Yes, also good.
Just zap it on there for 90 seconds, and you're good. We'll bring a handful of those to the bye week.
Keep them nice and piping hot.
That's it. Put them in foil in one of the insulated, lunch boxes.
Yes.
And a tall glass of milk, and we will buttermilk. And we will be with you next week, I think. Boiler Down will be in your ear holes later this week.
Yeah.
But I think we've done a great job of staying on task.
Really good. Thank you. Thank you everybody for tuning in live. And
can't wait to do 11 more post-win shows. It's going to be great. Man,
it's going to be awesome. Pretty great. One thing that came back, which is really nice, is the people that didn't want to. Yeah, shout's always great. Always welcome. I just love the fact
to derail you there.
It's now the good thing is it's now in our conference too, so it's like double the shout fun. So that's
right.
Oregon shout, Purdue shout.
Oregon does it too.
Yeah,
That's the animal.
So does Tech, as Anish and I found out after the third quarter. They do shout at Tech.
Oh yeah, I do remember this.
We were like, "Are we being trolled? What the hell is this?" Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, guys, Greg McManus, warm egg salad. Good call. Good call. Just like Grandma used to make. I like my egg salad. For me, it's like Sunday. I like to do it in a hot Sunday. Just let it sit out during a game. Like you don't need to throw it back into your warming cooler. Leave it out.
Just put it in your pocket. Sneak it into the stadium.
Yes.
On one of those hot days.
That's good.
And then you've got pocket egg salad.
Which is better on a hot day, pocket egg salad or pocket potato salad?
That's
tough call.
Mayo-based potato salad. Ooh.
Yeah, you're not going to do the German potato salad.
The mustard potato salad.
No.
You wouldn't. You would never grace your pocket.
That didn't make any sense.
I wouldn't eat potato salad on a bet.
Tuna melt. All great options.
Man, this is good. Maybe just get a Subway tuna sandwich.
Yeah.
Just leave it out on your table at your tailgate, and then you got it hot.
Just throw it over the walls of Ross-Aid.
And then leave it on the dashboard of your car with the windows up. So I got another story for you. You want another story?
Yeah.
I used to landscape in college. I was in the summers. I would do landscape.
Oh, that's where he got those guns, baby.
That's right.
Shirtless.
One of the guys I worked for, there was another landscaping.
Everything was so tight at that point. Wasn't
we knew.
Not a jiggle to be found.
There was another landscaping crew that we knew, and we would, just like any industry, like EMS, fire, anything where you've got downtime and you've got jerks, you find a way to mess with each other.
Yes.
So this other crew, we'd see them, and our boss would always have something to throw at them. So one summer, he put I can't remember if it was egg salad or potato salad or something. He ate like half of it, and he still had it in the Tupperware thing with the lid on it. He put it on the dash of the truck, and it was in the dash of the truck for like a month in the sun.
Then
I remember we see them coming, and he's like, there he is, and he gets it, and boom, hits the truck with it as we were passing each other. This is like in town. He would throw anything he could. He would let something get disgusting like that, and then so not only did it hit the truck, but it also smelled. I can't imagine what it smelled like when it burst open. But these are the things I remember. This is like 25 years ago, easily, maybe more, maybe 30 years ago, and. He'd get like a chili dog. There was a place we'd stop. There's a hot dog truck.
They get an extra just for
and they would stop at it sometimes. And when they had come in after us and we were leaving, he'd get an extra one and he'd wipe it on the handles of their mowers. So when they went to use the mowers, it was like into chili.
manwich all over your hands.
And those big industrial motors, they got like the squeeze handles that like put the one does the blade and one does the gear, the transmission.
Yeah.
So, oh man, and in July, it's great.
Yeah.
I got another. You guys are making me think of. See,
that's good. I got another thing we got to put out on our tailgate. Our warm tailgate is deviled eggs.
Oh yeah,
I love a deviled egg. Man.
Yeah, a really warm one though.
A hot deviled egg? No, like a room temperature deviled egg.
Hot deviled egg.
I mean, like, what is it going to be? It's a deviled egg. Like, that's the point, right? They're supposed to be hot. It's not an angelic egg. It's not an Icelandic egg.
This is neat. Bill knows Purdue now has deviled egg vendors. Hot deviled egg.
Throw them at you.
Yeah,
exactly.
So stupid.
Wow, this is laser focused, guys. This is what I was talking about. This is what we needed. This is a tight 45 minutes focused on the important things. Yeah, we'll get it all out of here. Exactly. No Boilerman, not lukewarm. We want hot deviled eggs.
No, that's the guy's name, Luke.
No, yeah.
Oh, Greg McManus says.
Oh, I used to love his films. Wait,
Luke's warm eggs.
Says, we put a quarter pounder in the desk of a guy at work once. We waited 6 months, never said a thing.
I think I've told this. I know I've told this
quarter pounders
story.
Don't change. That's been proven. You could put it out on the counter.
Yeah, that's pretty disconcerting. That almost makes me not want to eat one.
So very similar. Yeah, but you're gonna come on.
But I'm still gonna get mine.
I know I've told the story around the campfire. I don't know if I've told it on the podcast. My freshman year roommates, like I went to high school, like 3 of my best friends from high school, we ended up in neighboring rooms in Harrison Hall. Uh-huh. And at the beginning of the school year, we played a game called Find the Taco, where at the beginning of the school year, we bought a Taco Bell taco. And Correct. Correct.
You guys never found the taco.
That is freshman anyway.
That was the inspiration for the game.
Okay.
So we bought the taco, and the goal was the last person, the person to move out and find the taco wins the taco and has to eat the taco. And it turns out your boy was not very good, and your boy lost the game of Find the Taco when we were moving out. It sucks.
Well, you guys are engineering students. That's the other reason.
That's it.
Where?
Okay. Oh no, so. Where was it? Was it under? Where was it under the bed?
Underwear drawers where the taco is found.
That would smell awful.
And Anish was like, I love tacos. I don't know why I'm always craving Taco Bell.
So gross. Way I look at revisiting a fact we talked about a minute ago with all the preservatives in McDonald's products. I figured if you eat more of them, your body will be preserved better. So when they embalm you,
either.
Yeah. This is how the mummies. This is how
exactly in Egypt. That's why they stayed in such good shape. A lot of McDonald's in ancient Egypt.
It's like when you open up the top of the aspirin and it has that little thing that says "Do not eat."
Don't tell me what to do,
because that's keeping the aspirin alive. So
exactly
that.
Yeah, and if aspirin helps you, if you've got a heart issue, to stay alive, and it helps aspirin stay alive.
Exactly.
You want the freshest possible aspirin. That's what my mom used to always say.
It's the big anti-moisturizing campaign that's trying to tell you can't eat those bees.
Big anti-moisturizing.
Big dry, trying to tell you how to live your life.
Man.
Don't let them. Don't let them.
They don't have any. They don't have anything on them. Oh gosh, that was a good story, Anish. Thank you.
It's one of my favorites.
Oh well, okay, guys. Girls, thank you for tuning in today. It's been a ton of fun. We were going to be back. I don't know. We don't have any plans for, like we said, next week.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Jay wiping tears is hilarious. We don't have any plans for a bye week.
Yeah, I don't know. We might actually take the week. It's a weird time for a bye week, week 2. But anyway, we'll take it.
It is, and Purdue gets 2 of them this year, so who knows?
Do they have 2?
They do. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah,
that's good. 2 weeks to focus on. I don't mind 2 weeks to focus on Notre Dame. I don't mind.
No.
I like that staff.
Yeah. John Younger found a burrito under his hotel bed.
And was granted a free upgrade, and he had a burrito on top of it. So
pretty great to me. That's the perk of this story, not the free upgrade, but you get free burrito.
John's at the counter eating the burrito.
Hey, what type of place you running? Yum, yum, yum. This is bean. This is off. Yum, yum,
exactly. He got the upgrade because he wanted a beef burrito.
Exactly. If you're gonna leave a burrito under my pillow, make sure it's beef. I have that on my notes in my
preferences. Exactly. Exactly. I like
no down pillows. No down pillows and beef burritos only.
It's the Bullet Sports Hotel. We don't leave the chocolates on your pillow. It's a full hot, wet
next to a
beef and cheese burrito.
You reach your hand in the middle of the night under, and you're like, "Ooh," and then you're half asleep eating beef burrito. Erotic sandwich eating. Oh, good. This is why we have so many young listeners, because the references are always timely.
They're good. Yeah,
they're always good. We did have Toby, who he's a current All-American marching band member. And I want to just tell him thanks again, since we don't ever have students listening anymore. So, but there are hundreds of people listening, dozens, hundreds, something,
millions.
So, there are
millions. Yeah.
The entire nation of Hawaii is listening.
What the hell? I agree with Motor City Boiler saying John Younger's weak for not touching it. You kill that thing, man. You crush that. You don't say, no, you don't get to see the evidence. No, it's already gone. Here's the wrapper of the burrito.
Tell them you love them.
All right. I love you.